Good afternoon. Welcome to PJ and the Beard. This is our 19 conversation series. This is episode 58, and that is a shout out from my mic. Yeah, 58. There you go. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah, we can only go so long in this series before I have to start taking shoes off to keep up with the episodes.
So, how's it going, everybody? I see Brad Miller's lurking on the drive home. Brian Landreth is here. Brian, I listened to your song last night. Brian put out a new song that he's putting together a video for his Lawrence Petros, I think, 87 pedal. And he put out a little song for it. And I listened to it, and I made the comment. I left a comment on it that said, that pedal sounds great. And it was pretty late at night. And after I did it, I thought, well, that was terrible. That was kind of a terrible comment. Because if the pedal sounds great, the playing sounds great, right? You can take a great sounding pedal. Anybody can take a great sounding pedal and make it sound like absolute poo. Brian, you did not make that pedal sound like poo. I thought it sounded really good. I thought your playing sounded really good. So, yeah. Paul Ewing is in the house. He said he sent some pics. Yeah, Paul, I saw the pics. I was working earlier, so I didn't get a chance to reply, but I did forward it to Pat. And we have it, and it could be a whole show, I think.
I'm like, is this the Encyclopedia Britannica of pedals? Is this War and Peace? What did we just get?
Right. So we'll get into that. We're going to get into that. Pete Hickson, welcome from Australia. And Za from Brazil. And, I have to say, because we try to avoid this topic, but yesterday, Za was talking about being worried about, graduating and getting to dentist school and still being on lockdown on his birthday. I was talking to one of my high school students today, and we pulled up that world meter page that shows current cases and stuff. And I noticed Brazil was second only to us in cases, right? So they're at the top of the list too. And I don't know what population size and stuff was like there, but because he said it was getting kind of serious. And so that might be why.
Right.
Greg Platzer.
What up, Greg?
BCR.
Figured he'd be out scooting around the countryside on one of his Harleys. PJ and the Beards.
Did you see the green sparkle, I think, Hamer Flying V that Greg had posted on his page not too long ago?
I did not see it, but everybody is just tempting you.
I know, they're killing me. I would be interested to see what's on Greg Platzer's pedal board. That's
a true story.
If he has one. Does he have a pedal board? He has to have one because he's talked to me about pedals before he uses.
My guess would be he'd be a minimalist, perhaps, with the style that he plays, but I'm sure he's got a few things on there. He should take a picture of it and send it to you, right?
Yeah, he should take a picture of the pedal board and send it to us so we can use that for our Are You Bored segment that we're playing around with.
He said he's chained to the repair bench.
Leprechaun glitter, yeah.
Nice.
Yes. Maybe have to go out and see if I can find a picture of that gold sparkle Flying V at some point and put that up. Cool. Sean Zimmerman. Made from 100% free range leprechauns. What has not happened to my knowledge is Greg Platzer being in the chat at the same time David Barber's in the chat.
Right. And they have referenced each other. David mentioned Greg yesterday.
Yes, he did.
He said his board's on a shelf. He'll get us picks.
Nice.
I'm the one that gave you the gratuitous ability to drop names in the video. Is there a celebrity instrument on the workbench or nearby? While we're moving on, we'll jump back to that.
Yeah, clip of the day, are we?
Yeah.
I mean, is it too early? Because I kind of like some of the discussions that have come out of these.
I mean, I think the clip of the day is more interesting than the pedal of the day, if you want to.
Yeah.
You know how
Let's do pedal of the day first.
I always joke, right? There's the headliner band, there's the opener, and then I always refer to the first band as the In Case There's Traffic band. So everything, so the pedal of the day, we'll do this more of, in case there's traffic segment, so we can give people the time to do that. But we've talked about the Moore Sparks on previous episodes, and I don't know if this is going to be long enough, but it's probably not. Part of the reason I like them is that they light up, because I'm a sucker for shiny things. But I on my travel board, there are 3 more pedals, and we've talked about them before. We have the tremolo and the overdrive, and just because you can, I have a distortion pedal on there, partly because of the footprint, but I did plug it in here quickly. So it's got level, boost, tone, and gain, and then an on and off. But again, it was brilliant for the pedal board size, that I could get 3 pedals in a space about this wide. So it's pretty good. I mean, I've got it set somewhere, probably in a somewhat dirty, nasty setting, something that's really going to have, like, maybe if we're playing something that's hook related or something, I have this. So the Moore Spark, the Moore Spark series, cool series. There's also a chorus. I don't have it, but a chorus and a delay and a few other in this series. So even for people like Zah, who was talking about not really having a pedal board, this is a pretty reasonably inexpensive line that has a really small footprint.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how good they sell. Greg said that he's taking off. He's going back to the bench. No celebrity stuff, but incoming. So keep your eyes out. Maybe we'll see.
Right. What's on Greg's bench?
Hey,
Greg, if you need me to come over and help, I'm very familiar with tools, because this is not a drill. So if you need help with some of the finer detailed work, I'll be right over.
I was waiting for you to be like, being one myself.
Being a luthier from YouTube University. Brazil population is about 200,000, and we only register 30% of the cases. We're having almost 1,200 daily deaths, and our president's still saying the virus is a minor disease. Wow, 1,200 deaths in a population of that size. Whew.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So,
yeah, you stay inside and finish your schoolwork and get ready for dental school, Mr. Young Man.
Greg says that I call you a tool all the time, but I'm not really sure where he comes up with that.
in Greg's world.
But in Greg's world, what's beautiful right now is he's in the chat and he can say whatever he wants. He can't say. I, on the other hand, have a microphone.
Right.
Yeah.
I was looking at Pete Hickson's comment. Just ordered a Camise tremolo. Do we know about those? I don't know about those.
No. We'll have to
boy.
We'll have to look that then. Because we're gonna know about tremolos here shortly.
Right.
I think it's a good time clip of the day.
Sure.
We've been on that road.
Greg ain't screwed.
I think either.
Peace out, Greg. See you, buddy.
Yeah. We've been on that road the last couple of days. The female, I don't know how long this is going to last. It's probably not going to last long, but you really can't. Pat picked this clip. Believe it or not, Pat picked this clip because it definitely looks like something I would pick.
I know, right? I'm trying to please everyone. That's what I do, apparently. Yeah, so we were talking about female guitar players, and obviously Bonnie Raitt's name comes up, right? And Bonnie Raitt is a great songwriter, a great singer, and I don't know, brilliant's a strong word, but brilliant slide player. And so, we try to find gratuitous ways to put other people we like on the show that are the most obvious influences and players ever. So I did blend Beard's World into this. Beard's World. Maybe we should do that. It's her on stage with B.B. King. So you're going to get about 5 seconds of B.B. King and a whole bunch of Bonnie Raitt.
There we go.
asking them to sing. Old Avenue, old Avenue people. Old Avenue of broken dreams. Night, night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let BB at least sing a little bit because, again, some of the greatest players that we featured, like the Buddy guys, the BB Kings, Freddie King. I mean, their vocal is every bit as good as their guitar player.
Right.
The soul.
Yeah. And Bonnie Raitt too. I mean, that song starts out with BB, and then I think she sang a part, and he did a solo, and then it went to her, and then they got a little bit of the harmony parts there. Yeah, it's two legends, honestly.
And she's. I don't want to speak like I have any real knowledge of this, although it's never really stopped us before. She's not just acting like I'm a blues guitarist. Like Bonnie knew some of the legends. That slide thing isn't. She. And I'm trying to like restrain a little bit because I know a little bit. I know enough to be dangerous, but probably not enough to tell the truth. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to say who she played with, but she played with those guys. She hung out with those guys. She learned from those guys, and I'm not talking about like learn from like nothing against like Joe Bonamassa or somebody like that. I'm talking about learn from those guys, the guys that were doing it before the electric guitar was an electric guitar.
Right. And just for the record, I never let the truth get in the way of a good story, so it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I've had the pleasure of seeing her as a headliner. I've seen her at a couple blues festivals. Yeah. She's. I was about to say she's legit, but Pete Dixon already said it for me. Yeah, all the Kings. That's right.
She's legit. Zaz said,
but is she hashtag legit?
Yeah. Zaz said, "In this Christmas, I wish for a less stupid president," which really comes borderline to our policy of never talking politics. So I won't comment on that. Although there's probably people all over the world that are wishing the same thing from different perspectives, but we won't comment on that. So BB said he tried slide when he started and couldn't get it to work for him, so he invented his string vibrato to compensate. Huh, I can see it. And BB playing that Lucille guitar with his probably size 8 strings on. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't heard Billy Gibbons tell the story of BB King telling him to stop working so hard and get lighter strings, then you haven't been paying attention to the guitar community.
Well, Billy Gibbons eclipsed him, right? Billy's strings are like 7s.
Right. Tells that story all the time. BB said, "Stop working so hard." Why are you working so hard?
Well, it was interesting too because we talk about dynamics and stuff all the time. Even if you watch when Bonnie was taking that solo and he kind of slipped up next to her, behind her. I mean, he was still BB, right? Still playing in the spaces, but not too much. But threw a little bit of his own flavor in there. Let her have the spotlight, but didn't 100% stop playing. It's really cool. So.
Yeah, I saw BB very late in his life. I think I saw him once. Well, I mean, I saw him late in his life, no matter what, how you look at it.
Right, right.
I saw him once where he was still still standing up. Not sitting down to play. I'm not sure he stood up that whole show. And then Lori and I went to see him once right before he died, where he was sitting down and just, not, but I still appreciated it. It wasn't like,
right.
It was hard. It was hard in some regards. It was hard to watch because that he, I don't know, but what a great performer! What a great career.
I had that experience as well. I mean, not with BB. I saw him, my gosh, in probably the late 90s in a blues festival with like the Alligator All-Stars, and Eric Johnson slipped his way in there, and Jack Bruce and some others. But I got to see Johnny Winter.
Oh yeah, there's another one that
at an Edgar Winter show at a winery not too far from here. And they brought him out towards the end, and they carried his guitar out for him, and he sat down and played. And it was unbelievable. I mean, it was a blues festival, people there all day. he came out and everybody pushed their way towards the front. Like everybody wanted to see him play. It was amazing.
Yeah, there's another guy that. So, question from the chat asked, "How long have we played guitar?" If anybody, I don't know why. I started playing. I would say I started playing guitar in college. I had my first guitar when I was in college. I had learned chords because I was playing drums in bands before that. So I maybe knew a few chords before that. But I was probably 20, 21, 22. So that would be what, 20 some years? 25 years? 26 years?
I've probably been playing about 40 years, which means I should be a whole lot better.
Pete Dixon started in 1970.
Nice. Yeah, I think I was 13, so I would have started in 1980. Is that true? Yeah.
Brian says he's asking a question 15 minutes in instead of 59, so apparently we're supposed to give it attention this time.
Okay.
Has anybody ever heard of a Kent guitar? He has a 1968 335 model, hollow body that needs a little bit of work, and he kind of really missed out on his opportunity because Greg Platzer was in the chat, and Greg Platzer is, he would have been the guy to ask. He would have been able to tell you if it's worth something and all of that.
Or if David Barber's lurking, he kind of dabbles in it all.
Right.
Well, look at that. So Pete and I started at the same age, a decade apart. And I'm guessing Brad Miller commenting on the length of time played and the ability not congruent.
Are you having fun?
Sure.
That doesn't. What do people want?
It's a pretty fun season. I mean, this whole quarantine thing's weird, but probably don't play as much as I would like, but I'm really having a great time exploring gear and meeting people and that part of it, for sure. Things I never thought we were going to do.
Yeah. Should we get... Where are we at? Should we get into the Are You Bored? We got pictures from several different people. I haven't seen Brody in the chat, so
I have not.
Hold off on the Brody conversation.
Yeah.
Kind of weird to do that before he gets here.
Right. He may be actually having to work as well.
Excuse me. I'm normally mute for that. I just...
You're shorthand between clicking, typing.
So Brad Miller's in the chat. Brad, I thought we would show these Tele plates that you were making, if that's all right with Brad, and then jump into Paul Ewing stuff. And I don't know, you probably don't have that email up, do you?
I don't, because I can't, unfortunately.
I don't know if I can pull that up. Maybe I can get that up, or I have it on both. I'm never going to remember everything you said. That's just the way it goes. So we'll have to try and figure that out. All right. So, you hear anything about Paul? I don't think Brad. Brad, you might have shown your Telecaster plates. You want us to do that?
Yes. Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So here we go. What's Paul saying? It's a long story, but the short version is Billy Gibbons intervened with Seymour Duncan so I could buy a pickup made only for him. Duncan store them when he needed them, and wow, that's cool. This is very cool. Let's see. Why is this giving me trouble?
Trouble.
Every time and it's minimizing it. All right, let's try this. I'm going to share a screen.
I was able to bring up the email on my iPad on the third device I'm using to be involved in the show.
So what we have here are Telecaster plates made by Brad Miller, who's in the chat. And what's interesting about these, if you look, the first and the last one, you have this slanted Telecaster switch slot. So when you put that on your Telecaster, it puts your switch more at a slant, so it's not straight back and forth, making it easier to hit it back and forth, I would guess. The other thing that's going on is you'll notice there's an extra hole, and I believe, well, it's for a kill switch, and I believe that's for a Tessie switch, probably. So like a button that you can put on your guitar that when you tap the button, it kills the signal, so you can get that almost like that very hard tremolo effect, you know, where you could play a big chord and bap, 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 bap kind of thing. So, and then there's another picture. Here's the ones going to Ben Combs. Ben had got a bunch of those, I guess, from Brad. And so you can see in that picture of Ben a little bit better, the slotted switch thing, and then the extra hole for the Tessie switch. And I'm thinking the middle one is the Tessie.
I would think that the slotted one would put it more, maybe the similar angle to like a Strat 5-way switch, maybe.
Right. I think that would make it a little easier to knock it back and forth. I don't know if it would on the, like when you flip it around.
Right.
I don't know if that would be helpful or not.
Taking the arm off the Bigsby would be helpful.
All right. Let's see. A friend of mine works at the movie theater one day. It was closed, but he was at work, so he called me up to watch VIP, BB King, Van Halen, AC/DC shows in movie theater audio. It was epic. Yes. All right. Yeah, for Tessie switch. Wow, that's really cool. And how do you know Billy to get him to? I have a feeling if I called up Billy Gibbons, he wouldn't. Maybe the bearded thing, the bearded brother thing, you know, because we both have beards. Billy, can you send me a pickup?
Is it something like, how you doing? Is that the password?
Yeah. Brian Landry said he wants one, the angled switch one. Yeah. That's cool. And so then we get an email from so now we're into it. Are you bored? We need a jingle. Are you are you bored? So Paul sends us. Nope, that we gotta come back to that. Oh great, these are in no particular order. Let's see if I can figure it out. This is Paul's original board. Boy, that is small. And I don't know that I can make it bigger in this. It's really not letting me do it.
It's fighting you too, it sounds like. He said this is a picture of the board 2 years ago just to show you how tidy his 2 new boards will look.
Right. And so
the board looks like I built it.
Right. Here, yes. This looks like a board that Pat would build. So here is what's currently going on. He's waiting to get in the hardware store. There's some PVC piping. He said, correct me if I'm wrong, Pat. PVC piping. There's some shelves from different stores and whatnot to make a really kind of light, portable board that has a lot of pedals on it. So. Boy, yeah. I don't even know where to start. I see a Achille compressor.
I feel like we're on Romper Room, and I see Bobby, and I see Susie.
All right, in the chat, what's the birdsong pedal? That looks interesting because it's looks like maybe one small knob or a button up top or just a light.
Well, it makes it easier for the Wampler Ego because he has the box and the Ditto looper. And some electro harmonics in the box.
And we have a King of Clone pedal here, which looks very similar to something else.
Is that a Pog in the like upper middle, and then?
Yeah, this is a Pog up here.
And that's not a Joker next to it, is it?
No, it has like a chicken on it, I think. This is LPD pedal. So you see some LPD. I see the Supro I'm not sure which one that is. Is that the? We need to get that. We wanted to get the super tremolo pedal, and we just were not able to get a hold of that.
Right.
Supro makes good. Everything we've tried by Pigtronics or Supro has been excellent.
Right.
In fact, there was a Supro guitar on one of the sites. It's on sale right now for like 50% off, and then they give you like another 5% off. It was like $424 if you would buy it. It has 2 pickups in it, 2 of the gold foil pickups, and I've been really, really close to like, we just need to pull the trigger on that because what a great price on a brand new guitar. And everything we've touched by those guys, Supro and Pigtronics, has been phenomenal.
Right. Right. Isn't that the one with the chicken on? Isn't it like some Cocteau?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Are we watching to see what Pete said OCD much? Yeah, I mean, I think right here we're seeing him trying to get everything kind of where he wants it, and then it all gets put into place.
Yeah, because I think the top he's saying some of those pedals are all wired up and they're kind of around, and then the second picture, which I don't know if you've shown that yet, are pedals that need to work their way on there somehow. But sorry, I stepped on whatever you were saying there.
All right. Is this the ones that are around?
Yeah, those are the ones, according to the copious notes. He said, "I'll another pick of the pedals. I'll also be pulling pedals off the board and inserting these as required." And then there's that third picture. I don't know, man. There's so many.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like looking because it's on the other monitor, like trying to see what I can see. So many cool. Let's see a JHS sighting up there. Gosh,
Yeah.
just need a. All right, and then okay, so this down here, this is both boards. This down here, if I remember from the email correctly, that's his wife's bass pedal board, right?
Yeah, the one that's in the closest in the frame.
And so we might be there might be a close up of that.
There is. There's a singular picture of that.
There's a PRS sighting.
Yes.
All right, so there's the bass pedal board for your bass players out there. I did notice this pedal has a tube built into it. How cool is that? I don't know what it is, but boost chorus. So
It said his wife is a bargain shopper. She knows quality, knows how to shop. Her basses are old and mint. They're all bought for half the price they sell for in stores or on Reverb. For example, her American Precision and American Jazz bass were less than $475 each. Can she shop for us?
right, I thought there was a picture of those. There's the basses.
Yeah.
So there's a Hofner. Didn't somebody ask about a Hofner guitar the other day?
I don't remember, but I've been known to not pay attention.
There's remember Noteworthy Guitars?
Yep.
Did you see that they're going out of business?
No, I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah, he's going to
moved.
He's going to close the store and do all the repairs out at his farm or something. And he told me they have a little Hofner guitar in there that I really, every time we went in, it came in with that big collection they bought. You remember that one was a little black guitar and it had like kind of the big striped inlays on it?
Yeah.
I think he said it wanted like $350 for that guitar or something. I think on Reverb they're like $700.
Well,
but then I get, well, do I need another guitar that I don't need? You know, like
do I need to read the tagline to you? Like,
yes, you have. You can never have too much gear, but it doesn't mean you have to buy all the gear. You know, like
there's no sub tag. There's no sub tagline. There's just one. Tim from TL Pedals jumping in and having to jump out, and he said those must be Paul's boards. Yes, Paul's and Mrs. Paul's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pull Hobarodi's in the house. Hey man.
What is that turquoise guitar with all the tuners on one side? It kind of looks silver tone-ish. It's behind the PR. It's behind the PRS. Yeah, it's behind the PRS. In a
Is it on the picture?
picture.
The one in the back that's by that looks like an Ibanez or some kind of hollow body.
Not in the picture I'm looking at. It's first in the rack behind the PRS, but it has to be a different picture.
Are you looking at the back of it?
I'm looking at it from the front.
Oh,
But
right here.
There it is. Whoop, there
It's
it
like
is.
a silver tone.
Okay.
Let's see. Paul Roof just jumped in the chat. You guys remember Paul from taking a tour of his shop? He took us down the basement, showed us the shop. I know he's been spending some time on the acoustics. He was working on 4 acoustics at that time. So Paul, what's the? Well, they can't see Paul. Paul's watching from Facebook, so we can see Paul's. We'll pass it on. What's the word, man? How are the acoustics coming?
Paul, I hear a rumor that a 1930s National is going to wind up on your front porch.
I wish.
Yeah, Pete Hickson's like, this is not AA for pedals. We're all enablers here. Truer words have never been spoken. Or as my one friend likes to say, amen, ouch.
Brad Miller, don't need another guitar right now either, but thank you guys for looking at the Telecaster to mod and put a Bigsby on it and maybe a humbucker in the neck. It's so funny because that's what I set out for is a Telecaster with a humbucker in the neck, and now I have the one with a mini bucker in the neck. Getting close, man. Maybe when Paul's done with those guitars, he has to come back on and show them off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was a very old Fernandez. Of that guitar.
Wow.
Yes, we're sharing pedal boards. We're having a segment called "Are You Bored?" So send it to Jason, Facebook Messenger, right? And either we'll jump on and talk about it while you're here, or save it for another day. But maybe we'll capitalize.
Did Paul show his pedal board when he was on?
I don't. Again, it sounds really stupid, but I don't remember what was pre-interview, post-interview, during interview. I don't remember. I know. I feel like I saw some of it, but it could have been because whenever we have a guest, we say, "Listen, we got 2 segments: guitar of the day, pedal of the day. We'd rather show yours. What do you got?" So I don't know if that's when he showed stuff because he was walking all over his house, upstairs in the office, out to the garage, down to the basement.
Right. So yeah, I mean, send a instant message a picture of your pedal board, Paul. And we'll put it up. But yeah, what we're looking at right now is Paul Ewing of Stomp Box steals all his gear and stuff that his wife play. I come back to Brody. So yeah, boy, that mess of all those cables and stuff everywhere. I can't wait to see the finished product, Paul. It's going to be monstrous. I just love it. I love it. All right. So that's Paul's board. Paul stuff.
Yeah, so much stuff. It's awesome.
Paul subscribes to our no matter what you hear, you can never have too much gear.
Right. And he's got the perfect situation, right? His wife also plays and collects.
Right. Like, how cool is it? Like, what do you want to do tonight? Let's go jam. All right.
Let's go down to the music store and grab some coffee. Okay.
Right. The only guy in the world who can take his wife into a music, well, one of the few guys in the world that can take his wife into a music store and not have her chase him out. And it's really, whenever I go to the music store with my wife, this is bad because she's wonderful and patient. And so she'll be like, I want to go to whatever stores. And there's a music store nearby. We can stop there first. And the second we walk in, I feel like the timer's on. She'll be patient. She'll sit down in the chair. She won't say a word. But every minute you spend in that store, she's doubling it in hers. Right? So if you want to be in the craft store for like 4 hours, spend a half hour in the guitar store. So she's figured out how to get me in and out.
And you've spent a lot of time in Hobby Lobby to compensate.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian said he left a long, detailed comment on the Telly video. I'll have to go check that out then, man. I was doing non-guitar related things today, unfortunately. Brian asked how Paul was doing, which Paul couldn't see because he's over on Facebook, so I'll pass that on.
Pete Hickson avoids music stores. We have been, but not by choice. Although Jason got to go in and see Chris. Chris reopened, and that was time to pick up the telly. So,
yeah. Did Paul ever tell us what the bird song pedal does? I'm still interested in that.
I don't know, but the birds are really loud these days. Just thought I'd say that.
They're loving life.
Yeah. We're all the people. We don't care.
Treble booster. It's a treble booster.
All right.
No knobs.
Okay.
That could be on the
Could be another
minimal maximum board.
Another secret weapon.
There. All right. I think Paul sent us over his pedal board. Let me go look for that.
Okay.
You can saw why I do that.
Oh, great. Because we know how well that goes.
Right. We really have nothing.
I should jump over to YouTube and read Brian's long comment that probably said, "See, I told you those pickups were going to rock. I don't know why you doubted me." I don't know. We haven't made any kind of hard decision, final decision, but maybe one of the Lawler sets, maybe, possibly, we're not sure, could be from my 2007 Mexican Telly. But we have to be judicious in our Lawler purchases because we have a limited amount. Look at that.
Yeah, so this is I know we saw it. I don't remember if it was on the chart up. This is Paul Wolf. He was a guest a few weeks ago. Showed us all the acoustics he's building. Remade that, redid that Gibson Les Paul, and I just sent him a link the other day, or I sent him a heads up about a Les Paul traditional that was floating around locally. Which I don't know if he's really interested in those, but when I see him, I pass him on because he did such a great job on that other Les Paul. Yeah, got the Ego from Wampler. The OC2. Right? I mean, can't go wrong.
Nope.
I really like this OctaSwitch. It's a little big, but I like the simplicity about it. If you've never seen this.
Mm-mm.
Basically, you run all your pedals into the loop switcher, right? But then on each one of these switches, you can program, see all the little dip switches?
Yeah.
You can program which pedals come on when you push that switch.
Oh.
Right. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, number one doesn't necessarily just turn on whatever pedals in loop one. I think you can program it to turn on any of the 8 pedals that you have in the looper, or all of them. So it's kind of like a manual programmable looper, right? You don't have to get into menus and stuff. You just flip the dip switches. What I'm not sure about, and maybe Paul can answer, can you run it where just the switch turns on? Is there 2 modes? So say I want it to have like programmable settings, but then I want to flip it and just be able to control the pedals. Can you do that? I don't know.
Yeah. Which is that DD5, DD3, DD7? I can't. Everything I look at.
DD3. Yeah, it's DD3.
Okay. Yeah. I had a DD3. I gifted it to Brody.
Well, then up here you have the Sonic Stomp BBE Sonic Maximizer, which I still have never. I don't know what that pedal does.
It just makes things more awesome. They're unbelievable. I can't explain them, but you do. It started with just putting them on vocals. It was magical, and then put them on a guitar. It's just like, wait, what?
I know Ray Santana doesn't build a pedal board without one on it.
Yeah.
So
At some point, we'll have to fly to Denmark and get Danish Pete to take us around his wonderful country, because isn't that where Carl Martin is, TC Electronics? There's like 3 or 4 major pedal companies in Denmark.
yeah, Brian.
I don't know. Go ahead. I was just going to say, because I'm looking down here because I have a Carl Martin Red Repeat that I'm using right now. I love Carl Martin pedals.
Yeah, I mean, they seem like great stuff. I don't see them as much as you maybe think, but
well, they're not. I mean, I'd be curious to see what they're building now, because as you can see from that Plexitone and from the Spring Reverb we had from Chris and this Red Repeat, they're not big on small footprints. If you hear what I'm saying. I think you're going to say that Brian Landreth commented that he was too swindler would finish his loop switcher, and then Paul was giving you an answer to your question, sort of.
yeah, you can always turn the pedals on and off individually. I can't explain the BB either. Plexitone is really good. I wonder how that works. I'll have to have a conversation with him about it when it's not through texting, or maybe I'll go look it up. Because I mean, I like that about programmable loopers, where you can turn the programming off and just turn on pedal 1, just turn on pedal 2, and just do it manually. I love that you don't have to step over your whole board to hit the things in the back. But I would see where like being able to hit the programming part and step on one and have like a drive, a delay, and a reverb come on would be really useful. If you had like some preset kind of things,
Right.
So I would say Brian said that he wishes Drew Swindler would finish up his loop switcher. I do too. Not holding my breath though. He's been working on that for a long time.
I know, it seemed like he was getting closer after we talked to him the second time, and then I thought I saw some stuff on social media that looked positive, because I do not use a switcher currently, but I'm thinking about it, and would love to try out Drew's.
The BBE shifts the phase of part of the spectrum.
Yeah, you can't put it into words.
BB says you need a gig rig G2. Yeah, I mean everybody needs a gig rig, but they're kind of hard to get, aren't they? Living in the States, they're expensive too, right? They're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Drew's store right now.
Right. He's playing drums right now.
Still coming soon.
Okay.
All right, we checked. No, I would really love to have a gig rig, even one of the smaller ones. Not the big G. I think the big one's a G2, right? Even one of the smaller ones would be good for me. I'd also love to have one of the Schmidt Array pedal boards. You know, like
Oh yeah,
a super investment. You know, for guys that don't maybe do that.
So maybe we could get BV Ninja involved, and let's get the Schmidt Array, tuck a few gig rigs in there, and just ship it over.
Right.
Use the Schmidt Array as the mailing box. That'd be fine.
Yes, there we go. We haven't heard back from Mick and Dan yet.
BV Ninja was saying you mean a quartermaster.
Yes, a quartermaster. That's it. That's right.
Paul Ewing is saying that treble booster is an exact clone of the one built into Roger McGuinn's Rickenbacker. Took a year to get the somatic. I work with Anashed in Spain. It is now part of his regular line. Nice.
Wow.
Well, there you go. The great Drew has spoken.
Yes. Oh man, the gig rig. That would be. And I mean their power too. The power seems really great. The wetter box idea is really wild, and you know, if you could be doing like audible rigs, I love that. Quartermaster, Yeah. So there's a Quartermaster 6 and a Quartermaster 8. So I'm sure it's really good. They were a bit busy at TPS. I would think they're busy all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean they're doing it full time.
But I'm guessing with social distancing, it's a lot of extra steps to put something together.
Yeah. And what time would it be if they were to join us at like 4:30? Probably about what, 9:30 at night there.
I'm thinking it'd be the same as it was with Tim from Hampstead, right?
Right.
It's 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's great. I would love to. I'd love to try some of the gig stuff. We're big fans. I mean, we've been fans of the pedal show for years.
Right. Did you see BV Ninja's comment about that there's a Gig Rig US website? Is that what you were doing while I was reading comments?
Yeah, I kind of jumped over.
Wow.
Because riveting internet and YouTube live streams should be watching somebody look at another right while they're talking to you.
Well, at least I kept it interesting by reading the comments quietly in my head while you were doing that. So we kept it going. It was nice.
Riveting show.
It's that perfect formula we got going. Let's do a show about nothing and then say nothing. Nothing on top of nothing. Nothing from nothing equals nothing.
Something. Maybe. All right. Well, we are closing in on 50 minutes. I'm not sure how we did that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Pop in. We could roast his pedal board for a minute or two, but I didn't see Brody today. So, what else? I mean, is there anything else going on that we should talk about?
No, other than, well, we're trying to talk about, is our Oprah Winfrey time slot going to be sacrificed one day this week for an actual filming of something?
Right. Well, I'll admit, too, I have been kind of lacking on the obtaining guest category because I'm getting into that time. I have the rest of this week and next week to wrap up a high school year, and also have a graduate class. So, like, there's a lot of stuff going on with that right now. So I've kind of had to focus on that stuff rather than trying to beg people to, join us. I didn't have to beg anybody. Everybody's been really cool about it, but
yeah.
So I haven't been working on that. And even, I mean, it doesn't stop when you get the yes. I mean, you get the yes and then doing there's the back end for that because you want to promote it as much as you can for those people that take their time to do it and whatever. And so I've been kind of lacking on like searching for a guest. So I don't even think we have a guest lined up. This will be the first week we haven't had a guest lined up. And then we weren't sure, like Pat said, what day we're going to start to record. And if we start to record, what does that do to our 4:30 primetime TV spot?
Right. Exactly. Because we've got quite the backlog of pedals, and some people have been really kind to really help us out, and we don't want those to wait any longer than they have to. There's certainly been valid reasons why they have to, but those situations making itself to where maybe they don't have to wait much longer.
Right. And I keep thinking about these things and I'm like, oh, there's another thing that we were supposed to record. And there's another thing that we were supposed to record. And pedals that we forgot that we had the... So, good stuff coming, I think. I hope. Good stuff coming. So, Paul, we're going to have to, when we get through kind of the backlog, we might have to talk with Paul a little bit about and find out maybe some of these other builders that we want to try and get some stuff in by.
Right.
Brian says he built a wooden pedal board, but needs a bag to carry it in. Any ideas where to look? No, not. Mm-mm. They did the same thing.
Well, if we go down to visit everybody at Rock Lidditz, we could probably find an Amish quilting circle down there, and maybe whip up something nice for Brian.
Right. It could be a whole new market for Amish people that build pedal boards and quilted gig bags.
We just can't let the boys at Rock Lidditz in on that yet, because that's going to be the booth that we're going to have at Rock Lidditz when we have a space. It's the Amish quilted gig bags.
They won't steal your idea.
You sure it's such a brilliant one? I don't know.
Well, the Amish people won't steal it. They're never going to hear it.
Right. It's true. I don't know. They have certain tools in their shop. Maybe they are bootleg streaming this in the loft of a barn somewhere.
That's awesome. All right. I'm kind of feeling like there's no reason to stretch out 9 more minutes if we're done for the day.
I'm just curious of Paul Ewing's comments. Was he back to the one builder I said I wasn't familiar with when he's talking about most pedals come from small builders all over the world? They're not cheap, but use NASA or U.S. military parts or new old stock 60s parts that were needed. Most will blow the brand names out of the water. I see. So talking about maybe what you were saying there are other builders doing really, yeah.
Well, and it's like he turned us on to TL pedals.
Yeah, he did.
So his first one he turned us on to kind of knocked it out of the park. I mean, TL pedals, we've been really happy with that. Can't wait to record it.
Right.
Nice interview with Tim. I've had many emails back and forth with Tim since then. Great guy. Theater case is a possibility. I never put my pedal board in a case. I've always built them. I've never put them in a case, but I don't know. There's part of me that feels like maybe I need to have, like, maybe I should try like a prefab pedal board sometime, like to see what the fuss is all about. But
right.
I don't know. I like building them too. I mean, I like designing them and building them from the ground up.
I like buying them. I did get lucky. My little, I think it's a monkey board. It's the plexiglass one that lights up blue underneath. Sam's Club has faux Falcon cases, as I like to call them. And I got one for like $40 that my little plexiglass pedal board fits in. But they only make like 3 different sizes. So I got lucky that it fit in that.
There's the website for the gig rig site. So anyway, there we go. I think that's it.
I think you're right.
I do. I think that maybe today we have run out. We have run out of stuff to discuss, and so we'll be back with more riveting entertainment for you tomorrow.
That's right.
Or just to hang out and talk about nothing again.
Exactly.
Paul said he's working on some new guys, but most are uncomfortable with their English. They can write in English, so it's not a dead end. Quite not yet a dead end. You know, it's interesting because the guy from Neo Instruments, we really wanted to get him on and talk to him, and he was the same kind of way. He was like, I just don't feel comfortable enough with the English thing to do that. Which, hats off to these people if he can. I'm not going to pick on him for that, but anyway.
Right.
I think we're good.
I think you're right.
Send us some ideas. Send us some pedal boards. Send us some ideas. We'll get together. We'll talk again tomorrow. Love to show your pedal board. PJ and the Beard on Facebook. Send us some ideas if you want things to talk about, questions, whatever. Not that we have answers. We'll do that.
That's right. And check us out on all the socials. The Telly got lots of internet love yesterday.
Yeah.
So, despite the fact that we flirted with this not being true today, but I'm here to remind you, on behalf of the beard, that no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear, especially when it makes this warbly sound.
He just can't help himself. There's your Tim 10.
That's right.